Good morning, SPs. I don't know if you heard me the first time, so I'm saying it again. I hope everyone's having a great day. It's exciting day today. It's Friday. Weekend is upon us, finally. Yay. And protesters are going to be going out tonight in Clearwater, in Hollywood, and there's a lot to look forward to. I don't think anyone's here yet. I think it's just me talking to myself. I'm going to get started, though, because I've got a big show today. First, my caveat. I'm going to feature people you don't like, so get over it. We don't like everybody. Not everybody likes us. We can all be assholes. And, I'm focused on the topic, right? I'm here because I have an interest in cults, and very, very specifically, I'm fascinated with Scientology. But the people, people disappoint you sometimes. So I just ignore that. I try to find the good in everybody, and I'm focused on the content. Hey, Susan's here. Susan, before I forget, since I saw you, I want to remember to tell you, I want you to email me if you could. I even came prepared to ask you that. You're a really great mod, and you come here so often, and you do good work. Here's my email. Putting it in chat now. I want to add you to my mod email thread that I do in the morning with my links, since you were busting your butt Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. No, it was yesterday. Dropping links. So I want to add you to the email thread and ask you to help out, because Cricket can't always make it. I can't just rely on Cricket. Irish does a great job when she's here, but she's at work. She can't always make it. And so I added Buttercup, and so that leaves it all on Buttercup if Cricket can't make it. So I'd like to have you add it. Oh, you said yes? Great. Thank you. And Jennifer, Erie Forever are here. Good morning, guys. So, yeah, is there any meetings Monday? Yes, there is. There's a Public Works meeting Monday. I only know that because I did the post last night for Friday, and I saw Mondays is already listed on there. So there's Public Works meeting Monday. More to come on that. Let's get started. Okay, first one I have today is Blown for Good. Let's play a bit of that. Oop, volume's off. I'm glad I noticed that. Here we go.
And if you want, if we jam through those with enough time, then if you have other questions that we didn't answer, go ahead and put those in the comments, and we'll try to get to some of those as well.
Yep. And even if we don't, we'll save those for the next time we do one of these Q&As. It's good to just circle back around on questions people have. So that's why we're here today.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Well, there's no time like the present. I guess we just get to it, eh?
Sounds good.
Here we go.
All right. What is something about life at Gold Base that people outside would genuinely struggle to believe?
I think just the amount of restrictions you have. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not allowed to go anywhere without permission. You're not allowed to call your family without.
Whoa.
What's that?
I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Guys, Nina just built an app.
Sorry for the commercial. That I think I rewound it a little tiny bit too far, but this gives me an opportunity to mention that this is Mark and Claire, and they have a not only a YouTube channel, but they're the ones that started and maintain the Aftermath Foundation. So here we go.
Permission.
You're not allowed to receive a letter without it being read first.
Yeah, your mail gets opened on the way in, mm-hmm. and your mail gets opened on the way out. Or you leave it open. You don't seal it.
That's
if you
right.
Write a letter to your family, or anybody actually in that matter,
mm-hmm.
You leave it open so security can read it.
Yeah.
And when they're done reading it, then they'll seal it and then mail it, or not, depending on what you wrote in the letter.
Right. And that was even true when I was in Clearwater, Florida, and you were in California. Even our correspondence had to be read.
Which is kind of crazy. If you like, you would send me like these little postcard letters and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And to think that they're reading every single one of those is kind of crazy.
Yeah. And that we were not even allowed to, I wasn't even allowed to talk to you on the phone.
Yeah.
During that time. Anyway, but yeah, I think also at that property specifically, the level of isolation. And so if you think about in real world standards, now for me looking back, most people in the real world know how to drive and they have a car and they have a general sense of geographical orientation.
Yes.
Which surprisingly, like if I were, even when we went back there one time with a film crew, I had no idea how to get to berthing. You know, even though we made that bus ride multiple times, you're so exhausted. And so
you just sleep on the bus.
Right. Exactly. It's not like you're paying.
They keep you sleep deprived. They keep you uneducated. They get them in really young. These people are so controlled by them that they don't have a lot of basic knowledge that the outside world has. Let's play a little bit more of that.
Paying attention to turns and everything else. So it just,
Oh, and besides keeping them exhausted, they give them a low-calorie diet, which is a tactic the Nazis used, and it's sadly something that ICE is using in their encampments.
I think the level of isolation, as we've commented before, it's more extreme than Supermax.
Yeah, and this is particular to the international headquarters, 19625 Highway 79, Gilman Hot Springs, California. At that location, even if somebody wrote you a letter, they weren't writing you a letter at that location. They would send it to basically the int base would get the mail from Los Angeles. So if somebody was writing to Golden Era Productions, they'd write to 6331 Hollywood Boulevard, and that would go to Golden Era Productions.
That's if they were writing to you at Golden Era Productions. If they're writing to me, when I was in Religious Technology Center, it went to 1710 Ivar Avenue.
Yeah, which is just the other street that the HGV is on.
It's the same physical building.
Just a different door. And then and so all of the people that were at the international base, they all had an LA address.
Yes.
And so if someone was writing to you, they'd write to that address.
Because the location is a secret. Everyone knows it's right next to Hemet right there in Gilman Hot Springs.
And when you wrote them back, you would write it from that address.
Right.
And it would be postmarked.
Everyone on the outside, everyone on the inside. It's top secret gold base.
In Los Angeles. The mail would get sent down to Los Angeles and then mailed in Los Angeles from the post office there. So the postmark was from Hollywood, not from Gilman Hot Springs, California.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So how old were you when you first were posted at the int base?
I had just turned 17.
Okay. And did your mom have to sign over guardianship of you?
No.
No. Okay.
I was 16 when I joined. Well, I was 15 when I joined the Sea Org. I turned 16.
15 when he joined the Sea Org.
At Able International. And then I turned 18 or 17, like while I was on clearance lines, when I was getting my security interrogations to be able to go to the international headquarters. That's actually when I had my birthday. And then
I could play so much of this. The next question's really good too. They're all really good. It's a lot of information here, but just to keep the show moving, we are going to play something funny, actually, that Angry Gay Pope caught. So here is Angry Gay Pope, and that last one was Blown for Good with Headleys, Mark and Claire Headley. This is something funny Angry Gay Pope caught. Scrolling. A little weirdo anarchist out there right on top of Scientology. How the heck did he get up there? Oh my gosh. Next, I want to share something a little more serious. This is Eyes to See. She did Steve Hassan's bite model and how they control information control, how they control you.
Kind of like what we're seeing now throughout the world, but what do I know? 1, deception. Deliberately withhold information. That's A. B, distort information to make it more acceptable. C as in Charlie. Systematically lie to the cult member. Mind you, people don't know they're in a cult. I totally could have been in one. Probably already was. 2, minimize or discourage access to non-cult sources of information, including A, internet, TV, radio, books, articles, newspapers, magazines, media. Like saying it's suppressive. B, as in Bravo, critical information.
If you guys don't know who Steve Hassan is, he was in the Moonies for quite a while till he had a terrible car accident driving on no food, no sleep, no mental brain power. Totally crashed his car, was in a terrible, terrible accident. But that gave his family time to be with just him and help slowly wake him up. It was a momentous thing for him to wake up too, because he was fully indoctrinated. And he's written several books about it. He went back to school and did some research, and he wrote this bite model. And if you listen to the specifics of it, it really fits so many cults and breaks it down in a way that's very digestible. Let's play a second more of this.
C as in Charlie. Minimize access to former members. D as in Delta. Like calling them suppressive or just shunning them. D as in Delta. Keep members busy, like 18-hour days. Getting 3 hours of sleep, which is also sleep deprivation, which is an MK Ultra tactic, mind control. Keep members busy so they don't have time to think and investigate. And I just want to add in here, of course, the children don't have an option, do they? In fact, children in the United States do not have many rights. And if they do, they sure don't get to exercise them, do they?
Eyes to See breaks this down. She does a great job. The next one on the list is compartmentalize information into insider versus outsider. If you look at all of these points, it's all standard Scientology tactics. And almost all the cults you could break down in these very specific ways. Steve Hassan did a great job. I want to play a little bit of Reese, relatable Reese. And thank you, Eyes to See. More from Eyes to See to come. This is back to LA. She had gone to Big Blue last weekend. She protested with Tori, Lara, Peter, who was known as Roan on YouTube. I don't know if his channel is up still. And I keep wanting to say Dylan. I can't remember the other guy's name. I keep forgetting it. I'm not awake yet, though. Here we go. Reese.
Lexi. Yeah, absolutely, Debbie Zito. Hey, Tara. Here's the thing, guys. Yeah, Ghostwriter, good point. Thank you, West Coast Fancy Nancy. How many people, guys, what did we do that Scientology stream? A week ago? 2 weeks ago? I don't remember. I did a Scientology stream, a 3-hour stream of my story a week ago, I think. And do you know how many people came over here and were like, what is Scientology? That tells me we have a lot of work to do, right? Not everybody hears Scientology and goes, oh my God, it's a cult. That is terrifying and also thrilling at the same time. And I get a thrilling rush when someone goes, what is Scientology? I go, oh my God, come sit with me. Come hold my hand. I got a few things to say. But it's also, hey, Tennessee girl, it's also terrifying because those are the people they're going to nab. Those are the people that they're going to find their ruin. Okay. That's what Scientologists do when they recruit you.
She goes over a little bit of the recruitment tactic. I'm going to play more of that. I'm just interrupting for copyright reasons, but she's right. And I'm so glad she's speaking out. Here we go.
When you recruit a person, thanks, Buffy. When you recruit a person, when I was married to Jeff, I'll give you that example. They didn't like that I married a non-Scientologist, but they were like, hey, Justice Jane, they were like, we need to get him, we need to recruit him. We need to get him in. We need to get him paying for services. Find his ruin, right? What is his ruin? They said that to me all the time. What is his ruin? A Scientologist would say that to you. If you were a Scientologist and I'm a Scientologist and you have some friend or an aunt or whoever that's maybe got some money, right? They're going to go, what can you do? Find their ruin. What's their ruin? I can talk to them. What's their ruin? That's how I was raised anyway. They always said that. What's their ruin? So let's say your ruin is that you lost a child. The ruin is what is the thing that has really that they struggle with on the daily? What is an impact in their life, right? That has ruined them. Maybe you lost your mother and you've never gotten over it, right? Maybe you have chronic asthma. It could be something physical, right? It could be something like that where we can say, hey, you got asthma really bad? We have a rundown for that. It's called the asthma rundown, right? Hey, you lost your child? We can help with that. 10 to 20,000 at most, says Tori. They used to kick us out and off the benches until A, the live streamers arrived 2 years ago, and B, Audit LA going to city council and exposing them.
Tori Magoo was in chat and she was all over it. She's such a fireball. I love Tori, but I love this council meeting comment she made that Audit LA going to city council and exposing them and the streamers is what got some of these things changed. I'm going to play just a second more of this, guys.
That's real work. That is incredible. I knew I loved Audit LA. Tori, that's incredible. I could tell that lady was making a dent, man. She was well-versed on her stuff. Hey, Victoria, you look beautiful in the gold caftan and dealt really well with everything going on around you. I'm sorry about the tooth. Thanks.
So shout out to Audit LA. Shout out to Tori Magoo 44. Thank you, Reese. I'm so glad that you're speaking out more about Scientology. Right now, we need your voice added to the fight. She has a valuable story to share. Next, I wanted to share a surprise guest. Oh, I'm having trouble here. A surprise guest to the Public Works call this week on Wednesday. It was Sally O'Malley.
Seconds, and we'll move next to Sally O'Malley.
Good morning. I'd like to show you just how easy it is to remove an honorary street name. And this is from the Chicago Tribune of last summer. For the last half century, a tree-lined stretch of 48th Street in LaGrange, Illinois was named Linkletter Court in memory of the West Suburbs' longtime village attorney.
Did you guys figure out who Sally O'Malley is yet? Keep listening.
William John Linkletter. Yet, the LaGrange Village Board recently stripped the street of this honorary name after the late lawyer's daughter accused him of abusing her as a child during a stunning public comment session at a village board meeting. Anne Brandt, finally, when she was 79, implored the village officials to remove the street's honorary name, alleging her father had sexually abused her as a child all through the 1950s. The village board made no response, but by that Monday morning, they returned the street to the name of 48th Street.
Sally,
and it was.
And we'll move next to Laura.
That was Style Audit 1A called in Wednesday to the Public Works meeting call, and she did an amazing job. I loved her topic of tying it back to something that happened in another state where they took care of this. They changed the name of that street, and we want to get L. Ron Hubbard Way changed back to North Dorinda, which is what it should be called. So let's see. Things got out of order when I moved that. I want to finish with Eyes to See. She had gone over more of Steve Hassan's book. Steve Hassan's book is Cult Mind Control. And here she broke down a section on thought control and how they control you.
This is from Dr. Stephen Hassan, Thought Control. This time I'll not read Information Control a second time. 1. Require members to internalize the group's doctrine as truth. Like policies. A is an alpha, adopting the group's map of reality as reality. That also to me is the insular community, like the isolated, being isolated from society. B is in Bravo, instill black and white thinking. C is in Charlie, decide between good versus evil. Like suppressive. D is in Delta, organize people into us versus them, insiders versus outsiders, us and them. 2, change person's name and identity.
These are all things Scientology does. This is from Steve Hassan's book, Cult Mind Control. Eyes to See runs through it, discusses it. She does a great job. Appreciate you, Eyes to See. Thank you for sharing that with the community. And I want to play a little bit now of Pop Cults with Cassie. She goes over Jason Dohring and Scientology.
Let's talk a little bit about Jason Dohring from Veronica Mars and his life as a Scientologist. Jason is an interesting Scientology celebrity to me because he is very, very involved with Scientology. He is a second-generation Scientologist, so he was born into it. His dad is Doug Dohring, who is one of the founding members of ABC Mouse, and he was also the CEO of Neopets. So he was an extremely wealthy and very devout Scientologist. He and his wife have donated over $20 million to Scientology in
$20 million. Oh my God.
Doug's lifetime. Doug did pass away a little while ago, but his family's devotion to Scientology is still really evident. Scientology celebrities get a lot of special treatment. They get to take their courses at Celebrity Center, and they have special people assigned to them to make sure that they are comfortable and are taken care of and are going up the bridge and doing Scientology properly. And while even the most devout members of Scientology show up to special Scientology events when their schedule allows, when they feel like it, they don't ever really work for Scientology or do a whole lot to promote it outside
privileged class
of talking to their inner circle or recruiting cast members, crew members, things like that. And Jason does all of that too. In fact, we're going to talk about some of his castmates that he recruited into Scientology. But Jason also does a lot of work for and within Scientology. He is at all kinds of galas. He's always presenting awards like this. He's often advertised as hosting events at Celebrity Center, seminars, and information sessions. And he also
Cassie calls him out. I love it. Great job. Pop Cults with Cassie. Check her out. I have a lot today, so I need to get moving. This one's fascinating, too. I'm going to play quite a bit of this one, too. Liz Gale interviewed a young woman from One Taste. She was in the One Taste cult, and I want to go over some of that. Whoop.
So it was like almost 3 years.
Okay. And from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, like Scientology, in One Taste, there were levels, there were courses to take, there was like a business type structure on top of the practice, and that you kind of have to pay to play. Is that accurate? Can you tell me a little bit, like, and how much do these courses cost?
Yes. So you get something free, of course, like in the beginning, which is the turn on.
Sound familiar?
And it's like there's nothing sexual about it. It's just sort of like getting people to get acquainted with this organization, but feels very corporate. It feels like it's just sort of like communication games. And then at the end, there's tables with staff behind you, kind of like pitching you courses. And like typically the next step from there is the intro to OM, which is roughly $100. And I'm only speaking from my years that I was there. I don't know what it would be like now, or I think they even changed their names, and I don't even know what's going on with the organization now. But that's like $100, maybe $150 to learn the practice. And then from there, it was all really strange, because they wouldn't necessarily let you know about classes unless like you were invited to, like it was like they chose to let you know about things. So the course that they pitched me on, but I had kind of wanted to know more about, was called CP, which stands for the coaching program, which is thousands of dollars to essentially be a certified One Taste coach. I still to this day don't know what the coaching program was. I left halfway through. I don't really know what it was about. It felt very confusing. And then there were other courses, like apparently Magic School was one of them, to work with Nicole, I think was close to $10,000. Don't quote me on this, because I honestly don't remember the.
I want to play some more of this. It's such a great interview. It was a really interesting watch to see all the specifics that were just like Scientology.
Exact numbers, but
Nicole is one of the founders.
And it could have been more than that, honestly. Yeah, Nicole is the founder of One Taste. Nicole Dajon. But the thing is, like, I don't remember exactly, but yeah, so like lower levels were $100, $150 to maybe $500. I think there was like and then it just kept going up and up to like thousands and thousands of dollars.
Okay. Does the name Victor Bronco ring a bell to you for your?
No, why? What is that?
Well, okay, so when we were talking previously, you had mentioned.
You have to go watch this interview, find out what they talk about. They go on to talk about some really fascinating tie-ins to Scientology and the way it relates to the same tactics that Scientology uses. They just try to get money out of you and push you so hard, read you for selling courses and all the rest. It's a really great interview. Great job, Liz Gale. I want to play. This was Tuesday. Audit LA did the police commission meeting. Let's watch that.
Thank you. Good morning. Down the street, they're having several court cases, and one of them is the Danny Masterson case, and the other one is the Chrissy Bixler versus Scientology case. Now, Danny Masterson is a convicted
Scrolling, sorry. I refreshed too. It shouldn't be doing
rapist of 3 women, okay? And one of them is the Chrissy Bixler, who was the victim of him. Now, they were all Scientologists, although Danny still is a Scientologist in good standing, even though he's in prison for 30 years for drugging and raping 3 women. And they're working hard to get him out of prison. These are the people on your CPAP. And his victim, Chrissy, who is terrified to go out of the house because she's being terrified of Scientology and their fair gaming tactics, because you're not allowed to report crimes to the police. And the 3 Jane Does did report it. It took them years to be able to report it, because they had to be able to get out of Scientology and then do it. And then when they did it, they became excommunicated, okay? So you have 3 rape victims who are not allowed to, they're not they are not only not Scientologists in good standing, they are considered the enemy of the church. And so fair game, the church can do whatever they want to them without any kind of consequences from Scientology. These people are on your CPAPs.
Oh, did not mean to do that. So,
victims who are
attack the victims, support the abusers. Let's play a little more of this. I love Audit for going out and giving them facts, calling out the cult for their tactics, and filling the police with the information about it.
Are not allowed to, they're not they are not only not Scientologists in good standing, they are considered the enemy of the church. And so fair game, the church can do whatever they want to them without any kind of consequences from Scientology. These people are on your CPAPs. Do you really want an entity, an organization that rewards a rapist who is in a good standing, because he, did everything he had to do, but women who actually sought out help for being raped are considered not only, excommunicated, but live in terror daily for what's happening to them, especially now that she's going to court, they're going to court. This is not right. Please get Scientology off of your CPAP. I beg you. Thank you.
Excellent job, Audit. You are fire. So glad she goes to the police commission. This is really hard work she does. I don't know how she maintains the stamina she does and does so much. She's such a fireball. I mean, these police commission meetings, you notice I don't go to very many of those anymore. It's just too much. It's such an emotional drain. It's so much trauma. And if you're empathetic at all, which most of us are, which is why we're in this community, it's really hard on you. And then she physically goes down there and confronts them and gives them this information. And love you, Audit. Thank you for all you do. Here we have a real sweetie in the community who I adore, Dan Walks LA.
Where all the hospitals are, the children's hospital down there?
Yeah, the big blue complex. Yes, that's where her dad is. It's that one.
And I thought, how convenient that they would put a big Scientology building on all those hospitals. Yeah. And I was like, don't you think that's a little weird?
Well, then they go into those hospitals and recruit. We literally have footage of people.
People in their need, their desperate need. They just lost somebody. They're dealing with somebody.
Literally.
So basically, when you're vulnerable, they take all of that.
Scientology has a knack for finding the vulnerable, and they go into those hospitals on a daily and recruit at the hospitals when people are at their most vulnerable. And Dan Walks LA and Laura FM call them out. It's so great. So here we have some from just a little bit later in the same night. Jessica Palmadessa walks down the street and inspects the art that Laura and Dan did.
Oh, don't hit me. Oh no, it's still here. Beware, Cole. It's just been a little walked on. Abusive, brainwashing, human trafficking cult. Very nice. Cult Zone. Great artwork to the people who did this. Dan, and I'm not sure who else. It looked like he had some other people. Taxes on Cult. 8 free something. Abusive cult. There should be a crackhead.
888 free 002. That's the number for the Aftermath Foundation.
Coming to come annoy me any second. Cult Zone. Hey, you guys gotta come clean this. This is embarrassing for you guys. Oh, it goes all the way down to here. Oh, we got stickers all over the ground. Boycott airing in Cairo. Oh my good golly gosh. Missing flyers. Missing flyers going all the way down. Oh, they gotta come outside and scrape these off.
This was great. It was great seeing how much they put into that. And it was great for Jessica to come across it and shout it out. I love the activism in Hollywood right now, guys. They're really stepping it up. Okay. Next, we had a big thing happen in the community where Aaron Smith Levin was on trial, and Dodge went down there, and I'm going to share a little of his report on that.
3 different times, Church of Scientology, on that day, on July 29th, dumped water on my client. A battery is, this is the defense continuing, a battery is any unwanted contact. The part left out is that the so-called victim goes out there intentionally. Smith, my client, says, don't do it. He gave him a warning, but Mr. Gaffney throws water at my client.
Hot water, and had been doing so repeatedly.
This was self-defense. My client even gave a warning. You can put yourself in a position where someone won't touch you unwanted. My client has a right to protect himself. And I want to read a little bit.
Thank you, Dodge, for going down there and reporting on this. It was great to see all the community involved. Next, I want to play a little bit of Aaron's commentary about that same case.
Get out whole statements that you might think the judge would have had a problem with. I was like, you know what? I said I was sick and tired of being harassed and intimidated and bullied by these masked thugs who work for the organization I grew up working for. The judge had no problem with that. I was like, yeah, I was ready to defend myself. And he's like, but you said, bring it on. Bring it on. I said, yeah, I told them to bring it on because I was ready to defend myself. After having already had water poured on us several times, not to mention for several weeks, I said I'd had enough. I'd had enough being bullied and harassed by these thugs. And if they did it again, I was ready to defend myself. And so I was willing for them to do it again because I was going to stand my ground and defend myself. And that's what I did. I got to say all that shit. And that's what it really came down to. It wasn't like pretending I didn't throw the powder. It wasn't pretending that throwing the powder wasn't a battery. It was that it was self-defense. It was mutual battery. And they threw water on us a hell of a lot more times than we threw powder on them. I only threw powder on them once. Was a lawyer necessary? That's your...
It was great that Aaron won that case. It was great that he made that stand because what that does for anti-Scientologist protesters, what that does for us is help protect our rights. And I'm really glad that the outcome was in his favor. Let's see. This is a really good one. John Atack did an interview with Mayim Bialik. Sorry, had to think about that for a second. Here we go.
Hubbard realized how he could merge hypnotic techniques, repetition, fixation, and mimicry, the ways of getting somebody into an altered state, with the promise of supernatural powers, resistance to any illness, brilliant IQ, wonderful emotional equanimity. And he continued to sell these things from 1950, and they're still being sold.
It's the stuff of science fiction.
Only 2 aspects really in Scientology. One is to have the intention so you can command and control other people, and the other is to be able to leave your body and travel the universe. It's a huge scam which has enslaved people psychologically and physically. There are about 4,000 members of his sea organization, and they're slaves. They're not allowed to have children, they don't eat well, they're not paid properly.
You were a Scientologist for 9 years.
I am officially operating Satan level 5.
What would you say is one of the most outlandish things that you believe?
75 million years ago, the evil galactic overlord Xenu rounded up populations of 176 planets, blew them up in volcanoes, collected their spirits on electronic ribbons, and then we were exposed to 36 days of hypnotic implant in the place that Christians call heaven.
I don't know what's more disturbing, the occult origins of Nazism or the Nazi occult origins of Scientology. How did the occult...
I love this interview. Mayim Bialik does a great job. John Atack, he's so knowledgeable on all of this. I'm going to play just a second more, and then we're going to move along.
Make its way into the Nazi Party.
It's fundamentally about...
Well, that's it. I'm not going to play anymore. You're going to have to go to Mayim Bialik's page or John Atack's, because they put it on both of their pages, and watch this. It's fascinating. It's so informative. It's haunting how similar the Nazism is with Scientology tactics. L. Ron Hubbard was in World War II. He stole a lot of his tools, right? From not only black magic and hypnotism, but from how they did the encampments for the Nazis, and the lack of sleep, the lack of food, the indoctrination, all of that. It's remarkable. You have to check out this interview. Next, I have another one from Aaron Smith Levin, growing up in Scientology. He is going over Jenna Miscavige naming 28 kids trafficked by Scientology, and I wanted to play a little of that because it's fascinating.
When Grant Cardone goes to get Scientology counseling, he sees kids there. He knows that's not normal. Many years later, after I left Scientology and I was on my book tour, and I was doing a radio interview with someone in LA. I think his name was Larry something. But I was talking about growing up in Scientology, and he was taking callers. And one of the people who called in was a Scientologist, and his name was John Willoughby. And he said, yes, my daughter, Kiri, grew up in Scientology, and she loved it so much, and it was so great. And it was just such an insane moment for me, because his daughter, Kiri, as I mentioned before, was my best friend and was somebody who was trafficked and was somebody who was upset about it. And the fact that, first of all, that her dad let this happen at all, but then was calling in to support Scientology, and that he thought it was a good idea to talk to me about it when I specifically knew him and was best friends with his daughter. He probably didn't even know that, is just insane. And it shows that Scientology has no remorse. They don't give a shit.
I love Aaron and Jenna calling this stuff out. Let's play just a second more.
All they care about is covering for themselves. What's even more amazing about this story is that my friend Kiri's father, John, the guy who called, when we first went to the ranch, me and Kiri, he was on Scientology's rehabilitation program, where he was made to wear all black, run everywhere he went. He was forced to do hardcore Scientology interrogation, where he had to admit to all of the bad things that he had done. He wasn't allowed to speak unless spoken.
Not only the bad things he had done, but the imaginary things he had done in past lifetimes too.
And he had to do heavy manual labor all day during the time he wasn't being interrogated. So just an example, a single example of how full of shit Scientology is, and how willing they are to lie just to cover their ass. And their members will put Scientology before their kids. They'll put Scientology before themselves, because they're so groomed and brainwashed that Scientology is all that matters. And that is why cults like Scientology are so dangerous, and why it's so fucking dangerous and absurd to give them religious status so carelessly. Now, I saw...
Okay, good. That's the end of that clip. And that might actually be the end of the clips I'm going to share from this video. Like she said, it shows they will lie. They will lie. Scientologists will lie about anything and everything having to do with Scientology. Just like in my trial on Tuesday, where if anyone...
Not only will they lie, it's policy. It's their policy to lie.
One missed the headlines. I was found not guilty. Not guilty. Stay tuned on April 14th for the second and last trial. Where I will once again be found not guilty. In my trial, the 3 Scientology security guards that testified on the stand, other than doing a horrific job, all lied and said that part of their job as security guards is to keep the mosaic tiles clean in front of the flag building. Now, any ex-Sea Org member knows that this is absolute garbage. As a security guard, it is not your job to clean the ground. Anyone who ever spent any time at Flag knows that there's an entire organization called Flag Crew that's dedicated to maintaining and cleaning and taking care of the buildings and the grounds and the premises.
They lie to cover lies, they lie more, it's all lies. The child abuse that went on that Jenna was talking about, it's fascinating. It's terrible, it's fascinating, so odd word to use, but I'm struggling with words this morning. I'm not really awake yet, I need more coffee. But the brainwashing, there's so much you can pull from this video that Aaron did. Thank you, Aaron. Next, I want to go back to our sweetie pie. I need to stop coddling and infantilizing Dan Walks LA, but he's so adorable. I can't help it. Dan Walks LA.
This whole world built up a lost soul.
I put this back too far, maybe. Let's go up a little bit more. And now we're scrolling. Are we going to play? Are we going to cooperate? Maybe not. Maybe not. Well, go check out Dan Walks LA and see it for yourself. Hollywood. Oh, here, maybe now.
Can help you leave Scientology.
Dan out there keeping an eye on them. Love you, Dan. Here. Okay, I finished my Scientology clips. I'm going to go back and look at chat real quick, and then I want to move on to something. I got a couple of bonus clips today. I got a lot today. Today's going to be a big show. I don't know if I'm going to have time to fit it all in. Let's glance at chat. Mock is here. Kathy's here. Irish is here. Thank you guys for coming. Stars here. And yeah, Rika's here. Haggis is here. Thanks, guys, for coming. Appreciate you. Okay, next I have something that's not Scientology, but it is protest related, and it is something we need to be aware of that is going down in New York City right now as we speak, and needs to have our attention. Let's go to the page. This is Walter Masterson. He has been protesting the Hasidic Jewish community there, and they did a, you know how they do the town hall meetings for politics? They held one at a synagogue. So he spoke up at the synagogue. And so then now they're saying, oh, he was, you can't protest like that on religious property. Well, I'm sorry, if you hold a town meeting there, you could say whatever you want at the town meeting, but they're investigating, putting charges on him for this. And now they're trying to lock down a perimeter outside of religious institutions, but the perimeter is very vague. Anyway, it needs to be looked at by us, because if they do that there, then who knows what they're going to be able to do around Scientology properties. Here we go.
So we're at City Hall today. Council members Julie Menon and Eric Dinowitz put forth a bill called the Buffer Act. This prohibits protests outside of a place of worship, healthcare center, or school. This prohibits you from protesting inside or outside, and the boundaries of outside are determined by the NYPD. This is in response to a protest that
they determine what that buffer zone is and how far away you have to be, and they're trying to get this act pushed, and we need to stand up against this. Let's watch a second more.
took place in front of a synagogue. The media covered it and made it seem like they were protesting Jews in their place of worship, when in reality it was for a land sale of stolen West Bank land.
Zionism is not Judaism. The state of Israel is not the support of Jewish people. And when these events are being conducted in synagogues, this should be condemned. This should be protested. And on the contrary, people should have the freedom of speech to be able to express their opinions about all of this. Banning these events or restricting them is an attempt of silencing the righteous voice.
Attempt at silencing people is right, and people should have their First Amendment rights. So it was really nice that these men were able to speak up about that. Let's play a second more of it.
Which is unjust. It's unjust to the oppressed people of Palestine. And at the end of the day, this is dangerous for the Jewish people, because all of these attempts are making a statement that as if all Jews are behind all these crimes, and as if all Jews are accountable to all what's happening. This is insulting, this is embarrassing, this is dangerous to everyone, and this is unjust. We should allow freedom of speech to everyone. If crimes are being committed, those crimes should be protested, those crimes should be stopped, regardless who the perpetrators of the crimes are, regardless what the locations of those crimes.
So we're going to give public.
Thank you, Walter Masterson, for bringing this to our attention. We need to keep our eyes on this. We need to speak out how we can. Next, guys, I have a submission from my mom. My mom knows I'm fascinated with cults, and I guess she saw this for the first time, but the, gosh, I can't remember the name of the group in New Zealand. She sent me a clip on them. It's really disturbing. So just for my mom, I'm playing a little bit of this.
I like getting back here where I can see people that are dressed nicely and happy and smiling.
What don't you like about the way people dress?
Well, the ladies don't dress very femininely. Looks like they're trying to dress like men.
They wear uniforms. They're enslaved. I'm going to watch a little bit more. Whoop. Come on.
And it's not very modest.
And he put a lot of emphasis on elbows. Like the women should never show their elbows because they might turn on the men. So I can only assume that he had an elbow fetish and he found elbows sexy. I don't know. The men also have a uniform. They have to wear a button-down shirt with a tie and long pants. He put the entire community on a strict schedule, so everyone has to eat all 3 meals together at a specific time every day. He assigned chores to each member of the community. The women will have to wake up between 2 and 6 a.m. every day, depending on which job they are assigned. And they'll have to do all the cooking for all 3 meals for tons of people, the cleaning, the laundry, wash the dishes, babysit the children, while the men do work around the property. And they also go on to work in the cult businesses. And they are forced to...
That's just a little preamble to some that's to come. If should give a trigger alert. It's disturbing the way they view children in this cult. But I wanted to show some of the similarities, the uniform, the work, hard work, the indoctrination. I'm going to play a little more.
Start doing hard labor at a very young age.
I enjoy doing all the work I do because I know it's to serve God and I'll get my reward in heaven.
On one of the documentaries, one of the young girls was working in the kitchen, and the interviewer asked her how long she had been working in the communal kitchen. And she said that she started working at the age of 5 years old.
What's your job?
Tomato sauce.
How old are you?
10.
How long have you been working in the kitchen?
5 years.
And if a man in the group ever voices an opinion different than the one that the leaders have, they'll be forced to go into something called...
Since she was 5, working in the kitchen.
Called a men's meeting. The disobedient member will be brought into a room and the leaders will just berate them until they finally break and bend to their will. And these meetings will go on all day and all night if they have to. And
I'm not going to play any more of this, but if you watch just a little bit further, because I wanted to play some of the further stuff, they talk about girls being women when they start their first period. So 10-year-old, 12-year-old girls. But because of the laws, they make them wait until 16 at least. But they marry these young girls off at 16. It was fascinating. I'd heard about this cult before. Oh my gosh, guys, breaking news. We just got a major news alert. Wait a minute. I'm up to shenanigans, guys. don't take me too seriously. We got a major news alert just came in. Oh no, look at this. Endangered, lost person, gnome roamer, answers to the name George, height 4 inches, weight 2 ounces, age 768 in gnome years, 1.3 in human years. Last seen in Melbourne, Australia, October 2025. Person of interest, Aphila 8. Please do not approach the suspect as she may be armed and dangerous. Report any sightings of suspect of gnome roamer to anticsofamamasquirrel at proton.me. Oh my gosh, guys, breaking news. Gnome roamer hasn't been seen or reported from since October. We need to track down Aphila 8 and get her on the ball. What the heck is happening there? More to come on that. I can't believe this. Shocking in our own community. So Antics of a Mama's Girl at proton.me for anyone who wants to send me clips or anyone that knows anything about the whereabouts of George Gnome Roamer. He has been missing in action. That's the show today. I have a few announcements though. One, Public Works call at 10 o'clock. I'll probably start live streaming at 9:30. And here is, let me copy it and drop it. Here is the post for that. If you want to call in, it would be really great to have people. Yes, free George. Free George. What happened to George? So, Public Works call coming up. Today's Friday. We got protests in Clearwater. We've got protests at Big Blue. Tomorrow, we're going to have a knit and chat. Actually, I'm not sure if it's going to be tomorrow or Sunday. I'm waiting for the answer back from somebody. And Sunday also, here, let me copy and share this. Sunday also, wait a minute, I wanted to share this. Here's Gnome Roamer's page. If you don't know Gnome Roamer, his name is George, and he's traveling to all the Scientology orgs, and he was last seen in Melbourne with Aphila 8. But also, this Sunday is a knit-in DC and some other cities around the country. Women are getting together to protest the ICE involvement in our nation right now, and they're calling it Not Today Fascism, and people are going to be wearing their red resistance hats and knitting, and it's a peaceful protest to speak out against fascism. Let's see. Okay, here, let me drop the thing for that because I didn't have that on the mods list. Here is the link for that. And then this weekend, I'm on good authority to say there will be some shenanigans in Dublin. So please, please, please keep your eyes out for that this weekend in Dublin, Ireland. I'm dropping it in the chat right now because she never drops her own link, even though I tell her to. Irish Marts, keep an eye out for her. And then I want to tell you one more to drop, sorry. I want to tell you to check out Cricket Cinema when you get a chance. I don't think he's doing a follow-up stream today. He had a home emergency come up, but he often does. So keep an eye out on Cricket Cinema. And I just wanted to give some thanks and some love to my mods. They help me out so much. I have so many random channels that I spring on them that they've got to look up links for, and I try to remember to send them the links, but sometimes I get some that don't get shared. And I just saw haggis, so that's a good opportunity to do one more. Victims Have Voices. I'm dropping the link for that. Check out her website, guys. She put together, here, I'll share that real quick. Check out Victims Have Voices. Haggis Basher made this incredible website. As we discussed earlier in the week, or yesterday, Operation Clam Bake, it's still a great resource. However, the links don't be linking anymore. So if you want to direct someone who needs data on how to escape, how to navigate, go to Victims Have Voices and show them that they can get testimonials from former survivors, law information, how to contact the FBI, the DOJ, and legal actions. And it's a great resource. And shout out to Haggis Basher for doing this. So I think that's it today, guys. I did a lot. It was a big show. So we have a lot of exciting things to come this weekend. Thanks everyone for coming. Public Works call in 2 hours. Thank you guys. Love you all. Bye.